Proximity is our new work for the Adelaide Festival. We usually present a major work concurrent with the Adelaide Festival, and we have done since I've been with the company since late 1999. In the past, we've done other shows involving technology, such as Devolution, which was an enormous show with a French-Canadian roboticist. We also work with Lois Greenfield, who's one of the most well-known dance photographers in the world. She was live on stage and held, taking incredible photographs that were projected live onto screens. Proximity is a little bit similar to that in the sense that there are live cameras on stage, and the work is really a dialogue for live dancing and live video. So the dancers video each other, and then that is processed. That imagery is processed and then is projected onto an enormous screen behind the dancers. Proximity sees a collaboration with a Paris-based video engineer, Thomas Pachud. Thomas and I worked together last year on a version of the Rite of Spring for Ballet du Rhin, which is a company in France. And we began the first stages of this idea of working with live video and dancers and processing that imagery and having it projected onto these enormous screens. That was sort of like, in a way, the first step in this creative partnership. And then I invited Thomas to come and work on Proximity because those ideas were so beautiful and so powerful that we thought we'd continue the creative this creative cycle on Proximity. We've been rehearsing for a number of months, and we're kind of very soon about to move into Her Majesty's Theatre. We've discovered a lot of new things together over the last few months, and it's been a really kind of extraordinarily creative process and a dialogue between Thomas and myself and the dancers in investigating kind of ideas that come out of, I guess, largely out of neuroscience and ideas on how there are these invisible connections between ourselves and the world around us. So in neuroscience, in neurology, there's this the existence of neurological maps inside the brain, and when we connect with objects in the world around us and each other, even through our perception, these neurological maps engage and incorporate the world around us. So as we pick something up and hold something like a pen or drive a car or holding someone's hand, for example, our neurological maps incorporate those into our body scheme. We incorporate the mass and size and weight of those objects, and they become part of us. So I thought that was a really profound and kind of beautiful idea to take into this work, that there are these invisible connections between ourselves and the environment that we exist in. And so a lot of the video in this work is about it's about making those invisible connections visible in some way. So all the video in the work is metaphors for those neurological connections between us and the world around us. The work also deals with the nature of seeing and the nature of perception and how the eye works, how the gaze works, how we see things in the world, you know, what we edit out, what we choose to see and what we don't see, what we're conditioned to see, how our eye is conditioned from a very early age to see the world in a certain way, with depth and perspective, and through a certain sort of colour range. And I guess the third thing that the work examines is the nature of selfhood. A little bit connecting to a previous work of mine called Be Yourself, that the self is actually a whole series of kind of a multitude of stimuli and reflections and thoughts and memories and projections that are then kind of, I guess, ordered by the brain chronologically to create a constant unified sense of the self. So we feel that in ourself, that our self is this unified, chronologically ordered narrative unfolding, when in actual fact it's just a myriad of a phenomenon of data that's kind of coming from our bodies and also coming from the external world, that the brain then filters and orders into some kind of cohesive story. And that's the kind of conceptual crux of Proximity. But largely the work is, I mean, it's a very It's a very beautiful work, I think, in that the video imagery is extraordinarily complex and detailed, and extraordinary use of colour and design. So it really is this dialogue for film and for live dancing. So I think the piece is quite unique in that, in a way, we're watching a kind of a live, large-scale film along with live dancing, and I think that's the uniqueness of the work.